Here to go live. It says I'm live, but it's showing. Is it going? What in the world's happening? Is it working? Somebody let me know if it's working. It seems like maybe it is now. All right, well, I hope it's working. I don't know what the hell that was all about. I had a weird little hiccup technology-wise. Here, let's do this. Excuse me. Okay, hi Nasal Penny. Hey Rob, how's it going? Is the sound okay? I was doing some other stuff, and I had to tinker with my gain knobs for whatever that thing was. I tried to get them back, and I'm hoping I did manage to get them back to where they should be here, so I hope everything is good audio-wise. Anyway, I think to start tonight off, let's see, there's only 5 of you guys here now, so I'll give it a couple of minutes before I kick off the timer as usual. But I'm going to go ahead and start doing gaming. I don't know why, I'm just feeling kind of antsy this evening. So let me get this. I'm going to move this over here. There we go, so I can still see this chat and that. Okay. All right, cool, Rob. Thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good, I think. It's the holiday season and things are getting hectic and all of that kind of stuff, but mostly it's positive stuff. It's just time, energy, and I'm bad at time management. You guys know that already by now, but hey, Sunny Thief, how's it going? Welcome to the podcast. No, it's not really a podcast, is it? Live stream, I guess that's what it is. Although I suppose the difference between a podcast and a live stream is, I don't know, negligible. Okay, well, it's not those. So let's move that guy there. Well, we know orange only has one more place to try, so that's where orange goes anyway. Have you ever taken ashwagandha? I don't think so. That name doesn't ring a bell with me. Huh, interesting. Well, I'll have to look into that. No, I'm unfamiliar with that thing. Thanks for the suggestion and info, though, Rob. Hey, Rita. I have been well, and yourself? Okay, let's see. I'm going to stick the green ones in here. Okay, well, we know the black goes with the orange because it only had 2 places to try in the anyway, right? And I also know that red now has to go over here, so we know those 2 are for sure. All right, let's see what else we got here. Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll look into it. So it's just like an over-the-counter supplement type thing. Is that right? Okay. We know the light blue is in there. We already know about orange. We already know about red. That's good, Rita. I'm glad that you're managing, right? Hey, Em. I am good. How are you? Hey, what do you know? I guessed good with the light blue. Let's get the orange over here and the red, and then I guess I'll just pick the left one for the dark blue, just because why not? Yeah, we did them out of order, but so we'll go ahead and stick the magenta up there. See, I should have done that. Oh, I picked the wrong one anyway for the dark blue. All right, hang on, that's another comment's coming in here, it looks like. Over the counter, okay. Okay, capsule. All right. You know, I'm not going to go on any holidays, Rita. Mostly just because I'm broke. um, but there's going to be a lot of family stuff happening, just because there's a lot of people that live here, and we're not. I mean, I guess. Well, the house doesn't emphasize the religious nature of Christmas, although there are people who live here that are Christian, but. The house mostly emphasizes the family and hanging out together and the celebration, just for the sake of goodwill, cheer, love, that sort of stuff. So there's going to be a fair amount of that. So I'm looking forward to that. I always like having our. I mean, we eat a lot of food, hang out, do a lot of just chatting and whatnot. I mean, in the adult segment of things, there are people who imbibe in alcohol. Of course, I am not one of those. And then there's a couple of others who we will imbibe in cannabis. Oh, you know what? I need to start the timer, don't I? And then after dinner, we'll play games and that type of thing. Yeah, it's a good thing. I mean, it's kind of almost Walton-like wholesome, except for the weed. All right, so there goes the counter. All right. How many people are here, by the way? Already 15. That's pretty good. Oh, wait a minute. 16. 15 or 16? Give me two different numbers in two different places. Anyway, it doesn't matter. All right. Let's see what we got going on here. X-Destiny. Thank you. I appreciate that, X-Destiny. Hey, Darren. Well, welcome to the live stream. I hope you enjoy yourself. Yeah, thanks for that, Rita. The evil timer, right. Well, you shouldn't complain too much, Rob. I'm going to be doing it every week now, right? So I can't be on here 24/7. Okay, we'll do the magenta as usual. It's in there, just not at that spot. Still haven't found the spot. There's the spot, okay. So I should be here now. We're going to put in a purple. Okay, purple's in, but not there. Still not there. Still not there. Oh, yes, it was there. What am I doing? It just turned black. I'm slow to react time here. Oh, let's see, a couple of comments coming. Oh, yeah, Darren, as far as the time zone thing goes, I kind of wrestle with that, because the vast majority of my audience is in the United States, right? So I kind of pick a time that I think that will work well with that. But there is a significant number of you that are in other time zones. So I don't know, I wrestle with, whether I should occasionally do one at a different time, to accommodate all of that kind of thing. I don't know. But for the moment, I'm just going to be, I don't know whether you've noticed or heard or whatnot. I'm going to be doing these every week now instead of every other week. So it's every Saturday at 8 is going to be the thing for the time being anyway. And yeah, so yeah, I'm sorry it doesn't align, man, but I'm glad you're here tonight. Let's see. Lemonite says, good morning, Bill. Oh my goodness. So are you up late, Lemonite, or are you, getting up early or staying up late? I mean, at 4 a.m., it's one or the other, right? Come, I'm up at this hour. For me, it's only 8. So I'm going to take that as your answer that you're still up. Oh, good, Rob. Yeah. "40 degrees, yikes. Holy mackerel, that's warm. What is it? It's, what do you divide by 5 to give you 8 times 9 is 72 plus 32. That's 104 degrees Fahrenheit, right? If I'm remembering the conversion formula right. Right, because if you do 100 divided by 5 is 20 times 9 is 180 plus 32 is 212. Right, yeah, that's what it is. So whatever, you know, Celsius times 9/5 plus 32, right? Yeah. I can remember some things sometimes. All right, where am I at with this stinking puzzle now? Okay, I'm here, right, with the dark blue, and I haven't hit accept yet. Dark blue is not in it, but I'm here. Let's try light blue. Okay, we want to keep that one. So we should be here. All right, let's try here, right? It's got to be that, or maybe it's over here where the dark blue is. It's where the dark blue is. Wait a minute, am I here now? Nope. I got to come all the way around, don't I? Pink there, the magenta, the first light blue, the second light blue, purple. Now here, this should be it. All right, now I'm here. Let's see, I think there's been some comments. Oh my goodness, Gage. I cheat on Google, right on. Nick Land. No, I did not check out Nick Land. I have to remind myself that I need to get better at remembering these things and making notes of them and getting back to them. Okay, so where am I at here? I think I'm here. I think I'm going to try green. Yeah. So I'm here. Oh, green's right there where it needs to be. Okay, so now I think I'm here. Let's put in yellow. Nope, no yellow. I should be here. So it's going to be orange and red in these two. I don't know which order, but let's put the orange in here. Yep, okay, I need to get up there, so I need to get to there. Now I think I'm at the green. Now I think I'm at the magenta. Now I'm here, I believe, so let's put the red in. And code broken. I think it's funny where they say code broken here, but the other one they say code cracked. All right, I need a little bit of water. You know, Crummy, my memory is really faulty. What is Nick Land? Was that a person I'm going to read or a band I'm going to listen to? I don't remember. I'm sorry about that, but, you know, yeah. Middle-aged guy who used to drink way, way, way too much. You know, my memory just doesn't work so well sometimes. All right, you know what? I'm going to bail this for now. Let's just play this one more game. And then I'm going to start doing ASMR stuff, I think. Or the triggery stuff, ASMR stuff. Okay, which one? Is it red or is it orange? I'll pick the red just to arbitrarily start with something. And okay, yellow is in it. Red is not in that spot. I'm going to put it over in this spot. Remember, because it only can be in one of these three spots, right? All right, it still isn't there. Or maybe it is there. It could be either one of these is right. All right, I'm going to try it that the red is right. And I'm going to move the yellow. And then we're going to introduce light blue and see what that gets me. Sit up straight, Bill. All right. Okay, so one of these has to be right. Because if red's wrong, it has to go there. Oh no, yellow could go here, couldn't it? Oh man, okay, so it could be. I'm going to try this just for shits and giggles, as they say. I'm going to put the red over here, and I'm going to put the yellow back there. Now let's introduce some dark blue. Okay, I'm all the way off. All right, so red's got to go back to the middle. So if red was in the middle, that means yellow and light blue are the whites. Means that was this one here too, which means that's also the white, which means yellow has to go over here. Okay, these are all white. light blue is going to have to go in one of these, so light blue has to go there. Blue can't go there, so it has to go there. So I get at least 4 blacks this time, or else I've done something completely wrong. So it's either code cracked or 4 blacks. No, a white. How did I goof? All right, what did I do wrong here? Oh, let me see this comment. I listen to a mixture of stuff, Rob, to get to sleep. I do listen to AHM. Every night I listen to something, though. After living in San Francisco, I have to have something to get to sleep because, after being in a big city, it's loud, I guess San Francisco's not a big city, but it's a dense city. Yeah, so I like having noise go, but sometimes it's ASMR. Sometimes I listen to those shipping reports from the UK. I don't know if you've ever heard those. It's just like they have these names for these various regions, and they'll say these things like tide, high, blah, some squall. I don't think they ever say squall, but they just say these weird phrases that, have to do, if you're somebody who navigates a boat in a maritime sense, obviously you know what they mean, but to me it's just, they just have somebody calmly saying all this information. So I listen to that. That's on YouTube. You can find those on YouTube. Sometimes I like a lot of stuff out of the UK for some reason. It just really fascinates me, and I like the sound of the voices and the accents and all that. So I listen to this radio show that's The Unbelievable Truth. So I'll put that on. On YouTube here, they have these ones that are like they'll do a whole season in one video. So it's like a 2.5, 3-hour video. I'll put that on, and I can kind of come in and out of sleep for a while, and then I can kind of keep the noise going for me for a minute. So yeah. Hey Dylan, yeah, all is pretty much well. How about you? Okay, where am I at with this puzzle? I goofed this somehow. All right, so going back to here. With this one, red can't be the black, so it can't go here. And with this one, red can't go there, so the red does have to go there. Now, if this is correct, right, let's go back here. If this is correct, that means yellow doesn't go there. So here I tried it there, but this is all white, so the yellow so it has to be that the yellow goes there. All right, we know purple's not in it because we only have 4, and that's, whatever, okay. So it's down to these 2 ones. These were both all white. Oh, that's what it is, okay. Since it's a white, and this was a white too, I was thinking that, oh man, for some reason my brain was stuck on the light blue being a black marble, but it's not. The red was the black marble. So the light blue has to go here. So that's where this guy doesn't go there, he goes there. And then, this should be cracked now. Yikes. Well, there you go. See? Screw up sometimes. Hey Joker, how's it going? Okay, I'm going to put Codebreaker aside for a minute. So I'm going to move this to there. I'm going to switch this to just me being here like this. Right? Okay, let's get out some stuff. What do we want to start with tonight? I'm going to start with the jar. The jar is first. So we're going to do a little bit of that stuff with the jar. I really like that noise. Let's move it over here a little bit. Oops. Here we go, doing the little jar, the fluttery, whatever you want to call that noise. I don't know what's wrong with me today. It feels like it's making my forearm get a little tired earlier than usual. Am I doing something odd today? muscles get worn out early. Hey, we're up to 30 people. That's pretty good. Aha, 420, yeah. Yeah, that makes me think, I think sometime I'm going to have to do a, I don't know if you guys have ever seen this. I don't even know if it still exists. I haven't watched it in years, but Doug Benson, who's a comedian here in the States, used to do a show on YouTube. Like I said, I don't know if it still happens or not. That was Getting Doug with High. And basically what he did is he just did sort of a live recording. I mean, it wasn't like a live stream like this, I don't think. Or maybe it was, and I just never caught it that way. But he would just sit in this little room and invite other comics or other sort of celebrity people that he knew because of being a comic, and just have conversations with them while they got completely obliteratedly stoned. I mean, like he'd have, bongs and pipes and joints, and I mean, they'd just be having everything going all over the place. And they've even had a guy come on a couple of times to do dabs, I mean. Yeah, Rita, I don't know if smoking while studying is the best thing, It's like because cannabinoids tend to screw with our memory. I'm sure I've told you guys about that. Part of, or at least one of the ideas about certain endogenous cannabinoids in our brain, they seem, well, it looks as if they have to do with memory management, but one of the big roles it seems to play, at least the theory is, that it totally screws with the way women remember labor. Like, so if you've ever had a child and you go, oh, labor was horrible, it was painful and all that, you need to know this, that as bad as you remember it, it was way worse than that, because your brain doesn't let you remember exactly how bad it really was. So, and it's the theory is, at least from some certain evolutionary biologists, is that it is a thing that got favored and selected for because women who could remember didn't have children again. You know what I mean? Like they had fewer children, so there was fewer of them to breed to populate out the gene pool. So I don't know. I'm not an evolutionary biologist, so, but I just remember reading that. Oh, I don't know, about a decade ago, I think, or no. Yeah, no, it was more than that. It was longer ago than that. Yeah, and then also a dude that lectured at the chemical dependency recovery program that I was part of at Kaiser, because they came in and gave us all these lectures and stuff about how drugs and chemicals can be bad for you if you abuse them. And that was part of the thing he was talking about with weed and how it screws with your memory and all of that. Anyway, there's a bit of nonsense. I'm sure I've told you guys that before. I'm going to turn into one of those guys that, oh, there's Bill doing the dad thing, telling you the story you've already heard a million times. Well, good, Rita. I'm glad you were one that got exposed to it. Yeah. Does our brains do that with other kinds of pain? I bet it probably does, Rob. I just don't know if I haven't heard of any of those other types of pains being studied, rigorously in a biological context. But I bet you're right. I bet it does. Okay, let's calm down, Bill. Let's do some brushing. This is such a weird hodgepodge, isn't it? Having a little chat, little brush. Little chat, little brush. I'll do this over here. I can do this over here. I always feel weird brushing with my left hand, Clearly not. When I was a kid, I was completely ambidextrous. And I stopped being ambidextrous because there was never enough left-handed scissors in classrooms in elementary school. I'm serious, that's exactly what it was, right? Because since I could use both hands, the teacher was like, well, why don't you let this other kid who is absolutely left-handed use the left-handed scissors, and you can use the right-handed scissors, right? And I was like, yeah, okay. And then, over time, I just... Oh, and I had a teacher, I don't remember what grade it was. Which one was it? It was either first, second, or third grade. And she was really like, you had to pick a hand. You know what I mean? That like something about being ambidextrous bothered her. You know what I mean? I mean, she never came out and said that, but that was the vibe, you know? Hey, we got 33 people. The word's getting out, man. We're getting popular. We're going to have a ginormous crowd here one day. In the virtual world of Bill doing silly nonsense on live streams. You know, it just made me think about a weird flash of memory of, I don't know if you guys have seen Holy Mackerel. I think it's the Sandman song by Metallica. What is it? Enter Sandman? Something like that. I think it's off, yeah, it's off the Black Album, right? Anyway, they're doing it live, and I think it's in Moscow, and it's like a crowd of like more than 1 million people. It's insanely huge. I think it's like the biggest crowd for a rock thing ever. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty certain that it's over 1 million people that are in that crowd. And when you see the pictures of it, it's just astonishing. It's just like a sea of people to the horizon. You know what I mean? It's just nuts. I mean, I'm sure it's because of the camera angle accentuated that, because it makes for a good shot, you know, journalistically. But it's certainly just, yikes. That's a lot of people, man. Anyway. You know, you're probably right, Rob. You're probably right. 1.7 million. Yeah, isn't that crazy, Ben? Thanks for, you know, confirming and clarifying making it more accurate. Man, I was watching a thing earlier today on YouTube when I was just having a snack, you know, before I was getting ready for this, actually. And it was this young guy from Africa. I don't remember where he was from, but it was one of those travel things, you know, where people, they just travel around and they tell you about their experiences and shoot some interesting stuff. Anyway, so he was doing it in Cape Verde, right, which is West Africa, you know, but it's islands. It's an archipelago off the coast of West Africa. I think if you just go kind of west from Senegal is where it's at. I mean, if you know the map of Africa, you get an idea what I'm talking about. Why was I bringing this up? Oh, because the concert. And he was talking about all his experiences. It sounded really interesting. If I had the money, I'd love to go there. But the country is only like 800,000 people or something like that. So that concert was more populous than their country, you know? That's craziness. Yeah, it was an airfield right on. Wow. That's just nuts, isn't it? All right. Back to the ASMR. Calm down, Bill. Don't get so rambunctious. Don't forget. Oops, I think I just banged the mic there a little bit. I'm sorry. Doing a little brushing on the microphone over there. Being a little clumsy tonight, it seems like. What's going on over there? Weird. There's a weird noise coming from my ceiling. Okay, let's go back over here. Do a little bit more brushing on this one. Oops. Let's just do it this way. Awkward left-handed brushing. While I whisper or mumble or something over here while I brush over there. I don't know. Sometimes I wish I was more coordinated at this stuff. I'll get better at it over time, right? Okay, that's enough brushing. I'm going to do some crinkle, I think. So, this is easier, right? It doesn't take anywhere near the dexterity or grace of motion to do crinkling. I hope that's not too loud with the crinkling. It's a really nice crinkle. At least I like it a lot. I hope you guys do as well. Well, you know, I was going through some stuff because I still have just junk in boxes that I've had for years, and it's been in boxes for years, you know what I mean? So it's like I have to eventually, you know, go through them and get rid of the junk. There's probably, you know, a few pieces of something that's worth keeping in them, but most of it's just like old papers and that kind of stuff. But in a couple of those boxes, I had stuff wrapped up in bubble wrap, and so I kind of just tossed the bubble wrap off to the side and over in my corner. And that kind of accumulated, over the course of a little bit of time, I accumulated quite a pile of bubble wrap. So I think I'm going to try to figure out some, because it's a pretty decent pile of bubble wrap. So I think I'm going to try and do some sort of bubble wrap extravaganza or something. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, but oh, okay, here Ben has more facts for us. Wow. Oh, yeah, Ben, I saw, if you watch the Metallica video, you can see some of the Army guys in the crowd. It's a trip. Like the whole crowd is so into it too. They're just, it must have been great for Metallica. When I was playing in bands, look, there's a thing, I don't know how many of you guys have ever done any live performance stuff like that. And I've played like, not anything like an arena, but I played like some halls, that you could, I don't know, I don't remember how many people would be in it, but it's not, what was it? It's the El Cortez Ballroom was one of the places I played in San Diego, and I played places a little bit bigger than that, but that's about it, if any of you know that place. So like a small to medium-sized theater type thing, right? You know what I mean? That's kind of the biggest place I've ever played. And but when you're on stage and if it's going well, there is a thing about the energy in the room, you know what I mean? And if people are digging what you're doing, it's intoxicating. It's crazy cool, So I can't even imagine, like, to have 1.7 million people there and totally into what you're doing. You know what I mean? I can't imagine what that would be like. It must have just been crazy. And of course for the crowd too. Whenever you go to a show, right, there's always, everybody feeds on each other's enthusiasm, Holy mackerel. The energy in that place must have just been insane. Nasal penning, I doubt many of them would be able to see it without aid of, some kind of binoculars, or maybe they had remote screens, I don't remember the setup very well. But they had a lot of remote speakers, like PA speaker type things. And there's a way of setting things where you put a delay line in the distant speakers so that it's delayed so that it'll match the sound that comes off the stage, you know what I mean? So you won't get any weird echoey effects, right? Because, it's like you want to make it be, because electricity will get it there now, right? You mean, well, next to now, right? But so you want to hold it off so that it's like, so that they'll arrive together at the same time. So there's quite a bit of engineering that goes to make those systems. But yeah, that's the way they would do that so that everybody could hear it. Like I said, it takes some doing to do. It's all possible. You can just buy it, and you just have to buy the equipment and learn how to use it, really. Well, Gage, that is a strange question, because now here's the thing. I am smart in some ways. Like certain intellectual tasks or disciplines or whatever. Like, math came relatively easy to me, at least until I got to upper division in college. After you get to a certain level, then it really, because the point of math is that it's trying to do things, and if you're really trying to do things, you have to tax your mind to get it done. But I'm pretty good at most intellectual pursuits. I have a pretty good learning curve at being able to acquire knowledge and that kind of thing. My memory, like I mentioned earlier, is not as good as it has been in the past. Yeah, well, that's what you get for losing it up too much. But I would theorize that my fears really aren't that much different from anybody else's. I'll make a couple of caveats in a second, because those are emotional things. And a lot of that emotional stuff is like a different set of processes in our brains, I believe, you know what I mean? So I don't think being smart necessarily changes, fears. Now, here's the thing. There's going to be some things that will get where you wouldn't be afraid of because you may know information about it. You know what I mean? But that might not necessarily mean that it's a smart person, but just somebody who knows information about a particular thing that is dangerous, right? Like think about people who do dangerous things, like stunt people and all this kind of thing. Now they do get banged up and stuff, but they tend to not get seriously injured because they kind of know what they're doing, and they take every possible precaution to keep somebody from being seriously injured. You see what I'm getting at? So I would be scared shitless, pardon my coarse language, to do any of those types of tasks, stunt things, whatever. But they manage to do them, it is my imagination, maybe I'm 100% wrong, that they can do those things without anywhere near the amount of fear I would feel. You know what I mean? It's going to be down to, a large part of it anyway is going to be down to the fact that they know what they're doing based on their experiences, right? At least that's my theory. I don't know. I hope that made some sense. But hey, Vanitas. I'm glad you dig the channel, and welcome to the live stream. I don't know if you've really watched any of the videos of the live stream, but if you have, then you know what's up. But, I don't know. I don't really have a hard and fast plan or anything. I just sort of wing it. I mean, I do, what I usually do is some sort of game. I usually do my triggers, and then I babble about nonsense, and people ask me questions. I mean, that's kind of the format, I guess, but yeah. I think that might be enough crinkling for a while. Hey, wow, we're up over 40. I don't know if I've ever been over 40 before. Wow, that's a good thing. Okay, so what's next? We've done the jar, we've done the we haven't done the tapping of the wood. Here is the chunk of 2x4. So we will do some tapping on the chunk of 2x4. Yeah, sure, Gage. Bob Lou. Yeah, aren't you the one who said that I should? Bob Lou, about bringing it back? Or is somebody else doing that and I'm just misremembering? Yeah, tapping can be really good sometimes, can't it? Oh no, we've dipped back down to 39. Oh well. We had a brief moment of over 40. Okay, let's go over here now. Do it this side. There we go. That's a little better, huh? Make a little noise over here. Do a little bit of whispering. What is she doing that she sounds like she's battling Godzilla, man? If you don't mind my asking. At 11 p.m., huh? Well, I hope she's having fun, whatever the noise is. Oh, she's cleaning, all right. At 11 p.m., huh? Well, she's got some energy then, I guess, yeah? I mean, I've turned into such a fuddy-duddy. When it gets to be 11, I'm usually already in bed. And if I am up, it's because I'm watching a movie or something. Well, I haven't really been watching too many movies lately. I kind of just watch shows, because that way I can kind of do them, an episode if I want, or a couple episodes if I want, or, you know what I mean? It's easier to pause and start a show than it is a movie, for me anyway. Oh, wow. Where are you going to move to, Rob? Have you mentioned you're moving before and I'm just being forgetful? I apologize if that's the case. You know, on that note about quiet at night, when I was younger, I mean, well, you know, I was playing in bands and stuff, and if I wasn't playing a gig, I was usually at a gig to see somebody else's band. And outside of that, my ex-wife and I were both kind of drinking, partying people. So we would go out to nightclubs and all that, and you know what I mean? So we were, even on work nights, there would be times we were up way too late. But man, at 11 o'clock would be like, I'm just picking up speed, you know? I mean, I can think of a lot of Saturday and Sunday mornings when I was like, you know, driving home when the sun's coming up, you know? Oh, wow, 22 years, right on. Let's see, I think we've been here, holy mackerel. I'm going to be 60 next year in 2025, and we moved here, I guess I was about 10. Or maybe it was just before I turned 10, so I was either 9 or 10. So we've been here, well, almost 50 years anyway. What's, oh, wait a minute. What's motivating your guys' move? Just need a change of pace or change of scenery or somebody getting a new job or... Sorry, being nosy. Well, right on. About the wild ride. Or a ride, anyway. I think I'll do a little bit of the tapping with the handle of the brush here in a moment, too. Ah, there goes my fridge. I think it's getting old. It's starting to make more noise than it used to anyway. 74. Okay, that was 9 then. Thanks, Dad. I didn't realize you were here. You know, Gage, I think I probably will do more ASMR videos that have to do with singing. Yeah, I don't know exactly how that's going to work out. But yeah, there will be more. If you liked it, probably, well, maybe not probably, but maybe not as frequently as you would like. But, I mean, we'll see. Because I'm trying to work on music for my music channel. Yeah, it's just taking me a while to... Actually, I've got some music going that's almost ready to get done. I'll put it up on SoundCloud. Eventually, I'll get the money together to work with one of those places so I can get my money put on things like Spotify and all that. But it costs money to get those things to happen. But anyway, so the big problem I'm having is I'll have to finish up some things. But the other thing is a lot of them are like kind of in limbo because I wanted to make videos for them and I'm just struggling with getting anything to work properly or anything that works in my imagination anyway. So I guess I'm not really a video maker, but I don't know. Well, I mean, I guess I am, but maybe not the way I was thinking about. I mean, I was late teens, early 20s in the 80s, right? So I was, well, pretty much at the prime consumption age for MTV when it came out. Hey, Canyon Lark. Oh, hang on. Is everybody else having, is the stream too quiet for everybody else? Because I have the gain pretty cranked up on this. Hang on, let me go with that. I want to go here, I guess. Nope, not there, here. There we go. All right, let me take it up. What does that do? Is that horrible for everybody? Is that any better? I mean, I'm really cranking into the yellow at this point, but... And it's also bringing up the noise of my fridge. I can see it showing up in the meters. So how, is that an improvement for everybody, or is this, do I have to tinker with it more? Anyway, I think I missed somebody. Oh, Rob, bigger house. All right, cool. Yard and all that. That'll be nice. Yeah, having a yard can be a good thing. Oh, talk to you later, Dad. Okay, here we go. So now... Okay. Okay, so if everybody's okay with the current state of the sound, then I'm going to not tinker with it any, and I'll just leave it be. But if it's really bad for somebody, I mean, I don't mind playing with it. It's just, Oh, wow. Wow. Dude, that means I'm almost old enough to, well, I'm old enough to be your dad. That's funny. Well, she must be pretty excited then, the idea of getting a yard finally. That could be kind of cool. Yeah, you get some lounge chairs, or maybe have a little garden, or all that kind of stuff. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to go back to... All right, let me get rid of this. This is fine. If everybody's cool with the gain, I'm going to leave that be. And let me move this back over here. And then let me take this over to here. Oh, wait, hang on. Okay. Thanks, Rob. I appreciate the info. Okay, here we go. Doing a little bit of ring code breaker. Magenta is out. Purple is out. Dark blue is in, but not there. Okay, dark blue goes there. All right, so let's put in the light blue, shall we? Oh, wow, what do you know? Light blue goes right there. So now I'm going to go put the green in over there. All right, green's in, but not there. So we can try that because we know that magenta's out. Hey, there you go. So the green is good, the dark blue is good, and the light blue is good. So these three have to get replaced, and I believe I'm here. Oh, we only have 3 colors left, so all 3 of these are going to be in. It's just a matter of placing them now. So let's put yellow there, see what that gets us. Okay, so yellow doesn't go there. Okay, yellow does go there. I think I'm here. I think I'm there. I should be here. So yellow is found. Let's put orange in. Yeah, there goes orange. I should be here. I should be there. Let's try the red. Well, we know it's going to be right, so bingo. Okay. Here we got here. Right on. Thanks, Gage. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to play a couple more of these. I'm enjoying it, so I might switch over to one of the other games in a minute, but for whatever, I'm digging doing the code breaker. I enjoy the game, man. And I think doing this sort of hybrid of just starting with two colors seems to be pretty suitable for the live stream situation. I'm going to just try the red there as the, just guessing that the black marble goes with that. Move the orange over one. And let's put in yellow. And they're both not right. Okay, I'm going to assume that it's still the red. So I'm going to move it to there. And let's try orange over here. And let's put in the green, shall we? Okay. What do you know? So which one did I get right? Well, it's going to be, I think green's going to be one of them, right? Because we can't have both of those black because then green has nowhere to go. And so I think, oh, here we go. I got some more comments to look at. That's a good idea, Gage. I'm going to try the green here. I'm going to say the red is right. And I'm going to put the orange over here, right? Will that work? Yeah, because that's the white. That's a black, and that's a black. That works like that. Let's put in the light blue over here, shall we? Okay, one of them still needs to move. So which one is it? It's going to be the orange, isn't it? Or is it? Maybe it's the green. I think that's what it is. I think this is the light blue. I think this is the green. I think this is where the orange goes, and I think this is where the red goes. Right? And let's stick in the dark blue and see what that gets me. Okay, it's not the dark blue, but this part was all right, so good. And I guess we'll stick in the purple next, shall we? See what that gets us. And nope, it's still not the purple, so it'll be magenta. And then we'll have code cracked here. Let's do the green and the orange. Oops, I missed the green, didn't I? The green and the magenta. What do you know? Okay. Hey, Red Boy, how's it going? Let's do, well, we know it's in, but, oh, there we go. I was going to say we don't know where it's at, but we do now. So it's in that spot. So now let's stick in the purple. And, well, we got good with that right off the bat. Let's try the dark blue. All right, not in that spot. We're going to have to move it around a little bit. Keep moving it around. Well, it's got to be here then, doesn't it? All right, we want to keep that. And we want to keep that. And so we're going to be here. And we're going to put in the green. What does that get me? All right, green's in, but not there. Let's try it there. Yep, there we go. So that's the green. So, oops. This one and this one are the ones we have to replace, and I believe I'm here. So let's try the yellow. And we'll put that there. Nope, yellow is not there. So I'm here. I'm here. I'm there. I'm here. So it's going to be orange or red. Let's put that there. What do you know? I think I'm here now. Is that going to be the red? Yep. What do you know? There we go. The best way to support my work dollar-wise is the thanks button on YouTube. I haven't finished setting up my Patreon, mostly just because, I don't know, I haven't. and I don't have a PayPal or anything like that, which I should probably set up that too. So for the moment, the best thing to do is just, give me a couple of bucks on the thank you thing. I will get more pro about this as time goes on. But yeah, that's the thing. Anyway, thanks for inquiring about it. Are you ever unable to crack the code? Yeah, I have failed. Usually it's because I've made a stupid error, you know what I mean? But if I don't make a stupid error, I can always finish it within the appropriate amount of guesses. Well, there's the thing, I think, I might be wrong in this, but I'm pretty sure that the number of guesses is boiled down to somebody working out the math that you should be able to, you know what I mean? But I'm not sure about that. I might be wrong in that. But yeah, I almost always can finish it if, like I said, given the caveat that I haven't just made a bogus thing where, like I did earlier where I thought that the light blues were represented by the black marble when they were not, because it was the red, right? And anyway, if you remember that little few minutes ago, see, when I make mistakes like that, that's what it is. But if I don't make those silly errors, then I can always solve it in time, or in those number of guesses. At least that's been my experience so far. And I've played this a lot. I mean, when I do it with, where I start with a single color, I will run out of guesses, but that's because that burns a guess, you know what I mean, is really what it does. Let's assume that red is the white. I'm going to throw in the yellow. Oops, so it's not red and it's not yellow. So let's try orange here and let's put in green. See what that gets me. All right, well, we know green goes here then because it's the only place left for it to go. We know orange can't go here, so let's try it here. And then let's stick in the light blue, shall we? Here we go. And okay. Once the green, we know it's going to be one of these light blues, so I'll just pick this one. And what that means, orange is going to have to go there. Wow, Darren, that's crazy generous, man. I really, really appreciate that. I mean, I always get a little kind of emotional when you guys, I don't know. I appreciate the generosity. It is helpful to me as a human. And so everybody, 3 cheers for Darren, please, for his generosity. Thanks a lot, man. That's super, super groovy. Okay, where was I at with this? I was going to put orange over here, wasn't I? As far as what's going on with it, Rob, is that, I don't know, I seem to have a mental block about it. You know what I mean? I don't know. I mean, it would be nice if I just didn't need to worry about money. I mean, it's not that I want a bunch of money or anything like that, you know what I mean? But, I don't know, I just, money makes me uncomfortable in some ways for some reason. So I just need to figure out how to, well, part of it is also, too, I don't like the idea of creative stuff being behind paywalls, you know what I mean? I like the idea that creative things like art or whatever are out for humans to consume because it's good for humans. The problem with that idea, being Mr. Left-Wing Screwball, is that we have to come up with a solution that allows for people to do creative stuff to be supported in some manner so they can be free to pursue those efforts. But then it gets into, all right, so but who's genuinely a creative person doing efforts and who's just claiming to be a creative person and leaning into, well, it's all subjective, man, and really what they're looking for is free, just a free ride, without ever really putting in any genuine effort and nonsense like that, because those things do happen. So I mean, I guess it's a weird thing, but I live in a late stage consumer capitalist culture, so I have to deal with what I have to deal with. It's not going to change drastically in my lifetime, I don't believe. So anyway, there you go. So I guess it's down to me just being a left-wing screwball. Okay, wait a minute. I'm going to go lay down. Hey, thanks, Gage. I appreciate you chiming in and hanging out with us, and I hope you enjoy the sleep and rest that is coming your way. What do I think about the increased? Well, I think they're interesting from the standpoint, like, well, I'm going to make a quick little tangent thing. I don't know if this is really what you're really looking for in the answer, but I'm going to chime in just for a second on what's going on in Ukraine. I think it's a very interesting advancement that Ukraine has made in drone technology as far as warfare. It would be nice if we just didn't have to have warfare, but it reduces risk of a whole lot of people. You know what I mean? So I understand why they're doing it and the value of it is for them. And so in that regard, I think it's a pretty interesting, cool thing with drones. Now, the other thing, though, is that normal people having drones, and of course any kind of governmental agency having drones, it's an easy thing that they could be abusing our privacy. You know what I mean? And that bothers me. But that also gets down to those things are going to get abused as long as there are people who desire to abuse those things. And that's just down to that we're in a dysfunctional culture. It is what it is. Yeah, anyway, I hope that gives you any idea about, I hope that answers your question, Rob. I'm glad it helps you out, Darren. I appreciate it. And thanks again. That's really fucking cool. Yeah, Rob, I'm sure you've been around when I've talked about my fantasy. If I could get my fan base big enough, like if I had 1 million people that just, were subscribed across my 3 channels, or even if they weren't subscribed, but if they just regularly watched, to, several times a year kind of thing. And if like 10% of that 1 million people wanted to give me $1 a year, that's $100,000. You know what I mean? There's my dream, because that way I could be making what I want to make and not have to worry about money. I could even help out my sister and my dad, that kind of thing. And I just wouldn't have to worry about bills and that kind of nonsense. But then it also isn't a burden on it's not a burden on any of my individual, viewers, you know what I mean? I mean, like, it seems to me that $1 a year really isn't that, big a deal. But the thing is, I don't want to demand it from people, you know what I mean? I like the busking model, the idea of, I'll do my creative stuff, I will, give you my creative, the results of my creative efforts, and all I ask in return is to have something a little bit better than eking out an existence. You know what I mean? I don't really need a whole lot of creature comforts. I mean, the things I would want money for is technology gadgets so I can make more art stuff, like videos and music and this kind of thing. And of course to travel. I mean, those are my 2, that and cannabis and the such like that. But I mean, I don't need a fancy car. I don't need fancy clothes. I mean, I just like, durable clothes that will, do the job and, cover the cultural need for modesty as well as, the protecting me from the elements, right? I mean, and of course I like to feel comfortable in it, and I like to think that it's, pleasing to me as far as, aesthetics. But I mean, anyway, I mean, it's not, I'm pretty easy to please. I mean, I make my own tie-dye t-shirts, and, they kind of look like a bit of a mess, but, Okay, wait, I think I'm getting behind on the Christmas. I just saw the word Christmas, and it just went from my eye to my mouth. Yeah, very dysfunctional, okay. Yeah, Rob, yeah. That's absolutely the idea. Can I get you a Christmas present on Steam? I don't use Steam, but I appreciate the sentiment. Yeah, I know what you mean, Rob, about the drones. It's just, it's very frustrating when those types of things come about. And it's going to be kind of a headache, I think, for certain governments. It depends on the populace, what the how the populace behaves, and the overall culture that they exist in, right? Because what Ukraine has shown people, at least from a violence standpoint, is you can do a lot of damage for a small amount of money with drones. Which if you're Ukraine, that's super helpful and useful. Now, if you're somebody else and other people get a hold of and figure out how to do that sort of thing, I don't know. But it's down to, it's like a long time ago, humans should have come to the realization is that we don't need to do this war thing anymore. And actually, I think a lot of people have. I think a lot of us would just like to, haven't we outgrown this yet? The thing is, there's just too many that are among us that want power over the rest of us, right? And it's just a frustrating thing. It's just like, I don't understand how they can't see, look, if you just dial back your crap, there's ways that where we could all have an amazing standard of living. The amount of material stuff on the planet is fine. It's like, I remember reading a thing a long time ago where some material scientists and, various other people got together to, sort of an operations research sort of approach to a problem. Operations research, excuse me. That there's like, the theory is that the planet could probably support, several billion people, like way more than we already have, given the material that the planet has. It's just a matter of how we leverage it, right? I would actually like to see us not get that populated, just because I think you can reach a state where there's too many of a particular organism in a place, and that way they will always have a stressful existence. And you need to have a large population to have a robust gene pool, right? But I think there's a loss, like I think there's a max in there somewhere, like a maximum, like in the sense of calculus, right? Where after you've passed that number, you start actually degrading the idea, because it's not, you have a lot of more genes and whatever, but the over stress of the population causes such stress. It's like, you have a lot of organisms alive, but their quality of life is so bad that if anything bad did happen, that, okay, yeah, you have a lot of genes, so it should be robust, but the overall health of all the individual organisms is so bad because of the competition over limited resources that it negates any improvement that large population gives it as far as a robust gene pool. I don't know, I hope that makes sense to everybody. So, but I think that there's, I don't know, I think our current population or somewhere in this neighborhood is fine. And if we could just leverage our resources better, because I've seen so many things that talk about that, especially here in California, maybe not especially, but it happens here in California, that just in restaurants alone, forget about everybody's private home, way more food is wasted than we need to be able to feed anybody who's hungry in the state. You know what I mean? There should be absolutely zero reason for any human being on the planet to be hungry. In a starvation manner. You know what I mean? And the only reason that they are is because we lack the political will to solve the problem. And it's just frustrating. Anyway, there's my political rant for today. Aliens, huh? Yeah, I agree with you, Rob. That's the idea, right? That's my thinking about the quality over quantity thing, is that we need to have a large enough population, like I said, to have a robust gene pool. So if we get to that level, right, then we could all have good stuff, but we don't need to just chew it all up. We're not germs, right? We don't need to behave like germs. We don't have to panic-wise eat all of the stuff that there is available and just keep reproducing in a mad frenzy, because that's all they know to do. But that's what they've evolved to do, because then every time they get slammed, right, their population drops to nothing. But then if there's more food, they just do this thing, right? That's the nature of germs. And that's why they evolve so quickly, because they have so many generations so quickly. But we don't need to live in that weird, desperate, frenetic manner, We have an intellect, right? We should be able to, I don't know, we should be better than we are, is what I believe. But that's, I can't make people do things. I can only complain and then offer insight that I think might be valuable or whatever. And, you know, yeah. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Nasal Penny. Yeah, they've done a lot of studies around that sort of thing, especially with rodents and the like. Um, and there's been a lot of theories about it and, you know, how that works. And yeah, but it's an observable thing, right? Yeah, they have done scientific studies about it. Right. See, and that's so. Now, what I was talking about is restaurants, right? So you're talking about a store. I was also saying that they didn't even include homes, right? I mean, how many other places is there issues about food where there's tremendous waste, and it's down to, well, because we live in a late stage consumer capitalism, you know? I think the current population is sustainable. I think it's down to distribution and, like I said, political will. I mean, I know that there's issues with the nitrogen cycle and all of that, but I think those problems are solvable. And I think our biggest problem with the way that they've approached solving those problems lately. You know, here, let me switch over to this thing so we're not looking at the game since I'm kind of not playing it for the moment, so I can actually read the comments a little bit easier. Where was I at here? Is because the motivation for such things isn't actually to solve the problem of hunger, really. It's about to kind of chip away at the problem of hunger in such a way that produces money for places, right? Like, I don't remember which one it is, but it's like Monsanto's or one of those big agro businesses, right? I'm not sure I said that right. Is it Monsanto or something like that? Anyway, one of those places, they ended up suing a bunch of farmers because it had to do with seed, and they developed this seed, and I think it was one of those genetically modified things because it was like to make it, you know, resistant to pests and things like that. And there's some issues with that too that are, I wonder. I mean, it should be a doable thing to make those things safe, but again, this gets down to it's down to profit margin stuff. Anyway, what they had done is there were these farms that had a deal with them, and so they were using their seed, which of course was super profitable for them, because these things are patented, right? They've developed this thing and they've, you know, done the genetically modified organism and they've patented it because now they own that thing, which that bothers me when you start patenting biology. That's taking you down that's going to end up, I'm fearing a slippery slope. But anyway, there were these farmers that were small farmers actually that were in the vicinity, and they ended up getting screwed out of being able to have their farms because seeds, you know, plant seed, right? That's what they do. They seed, and then the seeds, there's natural ways of the distribution of seeds. So in this particular case, I don't remember what crop it was. Maybe it was corn or wheat or something like that. Part of the seeding of it, you know, when they mature and the seed goes away, is that it blows off in the wind, right? So what happened is these seeds blew from the place that had the contract with Monsanto into these other farmers' fields. Of course, they went and had somebody go test their stuff to find out that it had their thing in them. And so they sued them for using their stuff because it was patented and they hadn't bought it and they didn't have an agreement with them, right? So they were essentially stealing their stuff. And it was like, how is this even happening? You know, but see, that the motivation is that. The motivation from any company in late stage capitalism has nothing to do, it's about giving you a thing, but only giving you enough to get you to part with your money. You know what I mean? And they're trying to give you less and less for that money. That is the model. And they like to argue politically about competition, all of that stuff. But companies do not watch their behavior. They do not want competition. They want monopoly. You know what I mean? So the whole thing is pretty hypocritical and horrible. Anyway, there's enough of my left-wing ranting. Let's get on to a different topic, okay? Because I feel like that's not very relaxing. Anyway, I apologize for anybody who got put off by all that nonsense. Yeah, I agree with you about the Medicine Canyon lark. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't care who a person is. I don't care. Like, this is a tangential thing, but I remember when California made the helmet law. So if you're a motorcyclist, you have to wear, you're supposed to wear a helmet, right? Or else you can get a ticket. And there are a lot of guys who insist that they don't need a helmet or they don't want to wear a helmet. And I've heard tons and tons of arguments. I've even heard some guys say that it's safer to be without a helmet. And it's like, no, it's not. It's just not. And they talk about these various instances where some guy got in a wreck and the helmet got smashed in such a way that it was the helmet that killed him. And I'm like, okay, yeah, I will grant that those things do exist, but they are a minuscule amount of those accidents, right? The vast majority of guys are actually, or girls, whoever, it doesn't matter who, whatever, riding a motorcycle. Most of them, the helmet does them good. You know what I mean? That's just a statistical observation. But now, having said that, when I talk about things like, giving people, every human should just get the medical care they need regardless of their injury or sickness. And then people I've known in California when I've had these conversations have said, well, what about those motorcycle guys? I mean, they break the law and they go out there and they get in an accident and, they get messed up and their head gets cracked in, and it serves them right. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. Sure, they made a bad choice, but they're a human. Are you telling me that you don't love another human enough to just give them the help? Are you kidding me? You know what I mean? So, that's my attitude about the thing. We should just, I don't know. Yeah, there you go. I guess if you want to know more about those types of things, you can go watch some stuff on I'll do some self-promotion, the W.C. Postman channel, right? Because that's where I haven't for a while, but that's where I have in the past talked a little bit more about my political and religious ideas and notions. But anyway, so let's talk about whatever. Let's see what else is going on here. Yeah, thanks, Rob. Right, you're exactly right, Rob. It's the same kind of thing, And I'm not interested in being punitive. I don't know whether I've ever told you guys about this particular detail, but I know I've shared that I used to work for a company that we made diagnostic test strips, like for strep throat and pregnancy and allergies and ovulation and all these various things. And it's a medical thing, so it was FDA regulated, right? And so it's a thing. Anyway, but everything was very strictly controlled, and we had all these documents with every lot of products. That's when you made a group of these strips, they were called a lot. I'm sure everybody understands the notion of a lot. And there's all this documentation that has to go with every stage of the manufacture. And of course, along with that is also a ton of detailed recording about human hours as far as like how to get the work done. And of course, they're also having to keep track of all the materials that go into each lot and all of this. And some of it has to do with being able to trace back flaws. You know what I mean? It's like if you have to do a recall, you have to have the lot numbers. You have to have the lot numbers of the tubes that went into the, you know what I mean? So the tubes, the desiccants, the materials that go into the strips, that, it's like every component of the thing that gets sold has to be known about its entire history from, its initial manufacture to the finished product that goes into the doctor's office is controlled and, regulated and all this kind of thing. Anyway, so one of the things that the company was really hard on was trying to keep the material waste and wasted human time down, right? Every company wants you to do that. And when issues would come up in the dry rooms, as I was the shift lead, so I ran both the dry rooms, and they're like a clean room, but we're not worried about particulate matter so much, but it's humidity, because all of this stuff was very water sensitive. Anyway, invariably there would be mistakes that would happen and things, whatever. And some people just had issues and problems and they needed to be dealt with, right? So my strategy of dealing with people as a manager was, if it was an issue like somebody being late or something like that, nobody else ever knew about it. You know what I mean? Well, they probably observed them being late or whatever, but I had conversations with them discreetly, because I don't want to make a scene about it. But it's like, do you have a problem? Why are you late? Whatever. I just want to know. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but it is affecting your work, and that means it affects me and my work. So I just need to understand what's going on, if there's a way we can address this, right? I mean, that's what I'm not a blame guy. I don't give a shit, right? And there would be other things where it would be not about somebody being late, but it would be something about something that went on in the dry room, that a mistake happened or whatever. And so I would do these things, and we'd have these meetings, and I'm not interested in blame. Let's just talk about what happened, because I don't care about blaming somebody. What I want to do is figure out, is it something systematic, right? Is there something in our procedures or whatever that needs to be done or we need to address that will solve that problem that just happened, whether it was an accident or, just an inefficient use of materials or whatever it was. You know what I mean? And it was my experience that when I used to just work in the dry room as opposed to managing it, I made that place an order of magnitude more efficient and more effective. I'm not joking. You know what I mean? And I think my attitude towards how to deal with people had a lot to do with it. Anyway, I ended up quitting there because they tried to screw me over sick days. You know what I mean? It's like, look at the crap that I've done for you guys. I've totally made you guys way more money than my entire salary. You know what I mean? And it's like, and they have to jerk me around over sick days, and I just got fed up and just left. But actually, I quit. I didn't give them notice because they were really being, and I won't go into the details of that, but it was a bad experience for me. Anyway, so I'm not anyway. Sorry about all that ranting. Okay. Yeah, you're right, Canyon Lark. Anyway. Yeah, that seems to be my experience, Rob. Yeah, they were called Quidel. Quidel. I don't even know if they still exist. This would have been from about, let's see, I started working there in 86. I think I worked there like 3 years, something like that. It was the job I had when I got married. Actually, well, here's the thing, right? So I got this job, well, just before I got married, because I'd only had crap jobs, right? So I was like, I better do something so I can have a better job if I'm getting married, right? I got to, oh yeah, brush time, okay. And anyway, so I went and, I don't know, a year or more before actually it was a good more than a year before I got married. I went to an ROP program, which is it's part of our public education system, and it's called the Regional Occupational Program. And it's, also you can get training to do jobs, right? Anyway, so I did the electronics program so I could be an electronics technician because I figured that would be a, good way of making some money. And so, they teach you to read circuit line or, designs, schematics, and how to solder and, the whole thing, right? So I did that. Anyway, I ended up getting a job. I made it to my training said that I was an electronic technician level 2, Anyway, I got a job, and it was a good job. I pretty much liked it. I was initially on a line. It was for a company that was a subcontractor for Mattel. That there was this toy back in the 80s that was it was a cassette tape player, but cassette tapes have 4 tracks, right? Side 1 and 2, but it's left, right, side 1, left, right, side 2. So it's 4 tracks if you only have it go one direction. And it was these tapes. You would buy these tapes, and it was this educational toy for kids. And so they would play the tape, and then they would push different buttons to respond to this book that they would be. So like the book and the tape went together. And so you flip the book as you listen to the thing, and you hit some of the buttons. And basically what they're doing is they're activating a playhead for one of the 3 other tracks other than the main track. And that's how the kids can answer questions and get feedback. And so it was kind of an interesting little tool. Clearly things like that work much better with digital technology, but this is, before that stuff was really nailed down. Anyway, so I started off, I was on the line helping, build the things. And the lady who hired me suddenly realized that I was too smart to be stuck on the line. And so she put me at the head of one of the lines to do QC for it. And so I was doing that for a while. Anyway, we were going to move. The company was moving to a bigger facility because Mattel had upped our contract. At least that's what we were told. And so they were shutting down the thing. So we were going to have a few days off while they shut down the one location. And then moved to the other location. And so, but there was like, there were groups of us that were doing certain things. So like I had like 3 days off, and then I went back to work. I was supposed to go to the new location and be part of the people, not to tear down, but to put up at the new location. And so I got there and nobody was there. And I was waiting around. And so I went back to the old place thinking that maybe I misunderstood, and there's nobody there. And I went back and forth like a couple of times because it was only like a couple of miles away. And finally I went home. I was so confused. I didn't know what was going on. And I was really concerned, and what in the world, and blah, blah, blah. And then that evening, I heard a thing from my mother-in-law that the company that I worked for, they were called Richland, they went bankrupt, and they lied to us. They didn't get the new contract from Mattel, and they went bankrupt, owing a lot of us money. I mean, for pay, you know. And anyway, since I was a new employee, like I was the last person hired before this happened. And the lady that hired me, it's my understanding, wasn't involved in the thing. She wasn't high enough in the management level, but maybe I misunderstood the things. I kind of looked into the report after my mother-in-law told me about it. So I think she didn't know, you know what I mean? When she was hiring me, I don't think she knew that she was hiring me for, you know, a doomed company, but maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, since I was the last guy in, I never got pay because I was like so low on the ladder that there was, you know, and the bankruptcy was such that there was nothing, you know what I mean? I didn't get anything. But anyway, so after that, that's when I started working for Quidel, because since they disappeared, I was like, oh my God. So I went to a temp agency, and that's how I got sent to Quidel. And I thought I was going in for an electronics job, but I wasn't. I was going in to operate a piece of machinery that was actually pneumatic. It's like, all right, I mean, I'm willing to do it because I just need the job, but it absolutely has nothing to do with my credential, you know. I guess it's not really a credential, certificate, I guess would be the better word for it. But, you know, it was a decent paying job, and I needed the job, so. Anyway, that's how I got started there. How's the time going, by the way? Wow, okay, so we're inside of 10 minutes now. Although I guess it doesn't matter much because I don't have to do anything about scheduling a time or a day or any of that, do I? I just have to. I need to look into, I don't know whether I can do this or not, but when I set up the live streams ahead of time, I wonder if I can make it a repeating thing. You know what I mean? So it'll just change the date in it or something. I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Because I'd like to be able to just, you know, like set it up once for the year or something, you know what I mean? And then just not have to worry about it. Because I'm always forgetting to schedule the damn thing, you know what I mean? So I don't even, my idea was to try and experiment with like trying it, like scheduling it a week in advance and then, you know, altering it, you know, a little bit earlier, a little bit later to see what seemed to be the optimum time to, you know, do it in order to reach people. But I don't know. I haven't really got around to doing it. Okay, I need to catch up on some comments. All right. Yep, brush time. Yeah. Hey, Drunken Gold. I don't understand what that emoji means. Am I being scary or something? I'm sorry. Wow. Yeah, I find stuff like that really, I don't know, it makes me angry, Canyon. Yeah, you know, stuff like that is, I don't know, when you get into those situations, I don't know who do you know who to believe, you know what I mean? I mean, if you don't have direct access to the information, then, you know, anyway. Okay, Rob, what is it? Yeah, I know what you mean, Rob. All right, you know, I think I will try to, let's wind down and be extra quiet, extra slow just for the last few minutes here so you guys can have a sort of the cool down, you know what I mean? I feel like this has been a very animated live stream and maybe not the most chill. I don't know, I hope you guys have been able to enjoy it and relax. I feel like I've been kind of yammering. So let's be maybe a little slower, right? Just a little bit slower. Maybe it's a little bit quieter. Oh, you know, I think I saw a comment that I never responded to from earlier that said something about a live stream on Christmas. Am I imagining that? I don't know. I'd have to consider that. I'll have to wait till... I'll have to talk to my sister. Because, not that I need her permission or anything like that, but... I mean, we're basically the adults in the house. I mean, everybody in the house is an adult, but... You know, Dad's a retired guy, so he just chills out and does whatever. But my sister and I are the ones that have to... She does a lot of, like, the food prep and all of that, and I try to help her with cleaning and setting up and kind of, you know, cut potatoes and that kind of thing as best I can, and move furniture around and all of that. And so I'll have to wait until we can sort out how all that's going to happen this Christmas, and then maybe I can set aside some time during the day to do that. I don't know. I'll think about it. So I'm not promising anything, but I will think about it. You know, I don't remember any more of the Brahms Lullaby. That's the only bit I remember, is that one bit. I know that's kind of the most famous bit, but I should go look that up. Maybe I could do something with that. Because to be honest, I don't know. Did it ever have lyrics? It seems to me that it did, and I just have forgotten them, but I wonder who would have wrote those. I don't remember whether Brahms ever actually did lyric, like, you know, for choral stuff like that. I mean, a lot of guys did back then, but I don't know if he would have been one of those guys or not, or whether somebody else would have done it, like as a, you know, liturgical author kind of thing. I'm glad, Canyon. So you'll run one more time with the to about a minute and a half. And I think I'm going to do just a bit of tapping at the end here. I hope I'm not going to say this too long. Is it Piscuajo? Is that how I would say that name? I hope. I understood what you were saying, so don't worry about apologizing for your English. You're fine, man. And welcome from California to Uruguay. Well, we're getting down to just 20 seconds. That's the thing that Piscuajo, I hope I've said that close, is if you're just arriving at the end. It's almost over. So we're down to 3, 2, 1, right? Oh, there we go. Beep, 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 beep. Okay, that's done. I can do this now, don't I? It goes like this, that goes like that. Oops, what happened? Where'd you go? Come back here. There we are. Okay. Well, I'm glad you got here, for any of it, Furious. And anybody else who showed up, at the late ends of it. Just to reiterate so everybody knows what's what. These are happening every Saturday now. So every Saturday at 8. And so there's that. So I'm going to go ahead and make this a good night for tonight. I hope you guys who did participate had a good time. I hope those of you who just chilled out and were watching all that had a good time, got relaxed, got tingled, whatever it was you showed up for. I hope it worked for you. And thanks a bunch. And Darren, yeah, thank you very much. And anyway, so aloha, siblings.